I'm Andrea Walter. I'm the writer-director of Daylight.
Hi, I'm Jackie Martin, and I'm the lead actress of Daylight.
I'm Brian Merrick, and I'm the editor of Daylight.
You are totally different from your character. Daylight is a vampire short.
Yes.
I gotta ask, what is the vampire lore in this? Are you born a vampire? Did you become? Is it a vampire?
She was transformed into a vampire right when the movie started. So
Oh,
we're
like just then?
like
that day of?
no, it's been like a couple weeks, or she's trying to get acclimated to being a vampire.
Or is that the dad? I think it's a dad. Says like, look at her.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous. What am I looking at? Like, what does that reference mean?
So the vampires in the movie, and I'll let them speak on it more, is more of like my version of talking about queerness and and being trans and non-binary in your families and where you live. So I use vampires for that version of it. So when the dad is saying that, my dad's accepting, so it was more for some other folks who don't have that, but more people who are shameful of their kids being trans or queer.
There's not that much dialogue. There's a lot of music, very moody, 80s like music, and then it hits you like all of a sudden. Actually, I think it goes with the editing, because there's like this whole part of a stream of bodies. Can we talk about the body?
Those were basically like her victims, yes?
The dead bodies?
The dead bodies.
Oh, he's one of them too.
Yeah. I'm also one of
Wait, which one were you?
I was the one in the bathroom on the floor. I like to insert myself into front of the camera, unlike most editors.
The most extroverted editor you'll meet.
Was that like, I have to be one of the victims, or did that just like...
It was
act
more
like
of like, I was a victim of circumstance, kind of. Like, I was just happened to be there, so they needed an extra dead body. And I was like, I volunteer as tribute.
So one thing I noticed with like the bodies, like they just had this look towards the camera. Can you talk about the look a little bit?
Look, I've been struggling with figuring out how to deal with like the death of queer people and all the attacks and violence on our community. So I had the camera doing portraits of it because I didn't want to make it feel violent or rated R. I just didn't want to run away from it. So these slow portraits was forcing our audience to look at the damage that happens to queer people or immigrants too, which is like what we all experience. So it's more of a don't look away, but it's not supposed to be horrifying.
Even though the vampires did it?
Yeah. I know, it's experimental.
In a way, it's also like her reflection on like the victims that she's left in her wake by not really understanding like this world that she's been thrusted into. So in a way, they are kind of like judging her, I feel like.
What about you? Do you have an interpretation of dead body scenes?
I see them as people that my character. I feel like my character has a hard time with her identity, and so when you see those people, it's all the people that she felt judged by. She's confused, and she doesn't want to feel that from that person that she has felt from those bodies. And I think, I feel like that scene was so beautifully edited. I love that scene because I'm like, oh, the chills. But you just get a sense of her past and what she's gone through with that scene without knowing her past. It's a short film, so I think that was beautifully done.
And then when I was watching it, I got a really strong sense of Lost Boys in Vegas kind of thing, especially with the in which So was that the vibe? Was I correct with the whole Lost Boys kind of thing?
Those are The Lost Boys is one of my favorite films, and I always wanted to do my vampire movie, so that's like super high on my list.
But what actually brought me, because you see in the distance, it's Vegas, obviously. Of all the places, that seems like the worst place for a vampire to be in.
In a way. We all lived, Jackie still lives in Vegas. I lived in Vegas for a long time. That's how Brian and I met. And one of the, myself immigrating there from a tropical climate, the thing I notice is that people don't really open their windows. The casinos don't have windows. There's no sense of time. You can spend an entire day, night, 48 hours inside a building and never know time changes. Yeah, it's hot, but even during the wintertime, the sun sets so early. So those are one side of Vegas what makes it appealing for vampires, but also there's the other side where if you need to eat, you can eat someone who will never be found.
Oh, that's such a sad way to think of
It is. Lots of tourists. But also there's like these, not a lot of people know there's tunnels under Vegas for the water, like the flash flooding, and a lot of people live there.
I mean, other than that whole glimpse that you see far off, you don't know it's Vegas until then. But like knowing that, can you each share an experience of like you're filming like in Vegas, like at night? Did anybody give you any weird looks? Like what's going on? Why are you guys running around as vampires?
I guess I'm the only actor here that can speak on filming. So it was actually really funny because we were smoking for this film, and
I was gonna ask, there's a lot of smoke here.
yeah, there's like, so
The smoke.
yeah, I know. When I was younger, I actually despised smoking. I when I would always go to casinos and I look at people smoking, I'm like, why? What was really cool in this film, learning about smoking, I learned how culturally impactful it is with just with family members and friends. Andrea taught me that, and
So are we to blame for her downfall?
Look, just
she's so young and impressive.
I know. So full disclaimer, I asked everyone, I was like, I have fake cigarettes and I have real ones. It's your choice.
It was a choice.
Jackie.
It was a choice. I really wanted to explore that part because I recently traveled to Philippines.
Oh yeah,
And my uncle, it was a very fun night. It was probably one of my favorite nights. We had a barbecue, and it was a pool day, and we had karaoke, and right. And then it was my uncle. He's like, you could smell him smoking and stuff, and Dre was talking about how it was such a cultural part, and I wanted it kind of feel that in a sense of way. I kind of wanted to tap into that part. Well, just as my character, talking to Drea and about the isolation. When I that was my first time I ever went to Philippines. It was a couple of years ago, and it was my mom's first time, over 20 years. It was such and I don't talk to my family in Philippines, so I felt like that was such a huge moment in my life. And so before we did the film, we talked about that. And when I came back to Vegas, I cried and cried for a week straight. I found a family that I didn't know I had. Everyone that I met in Philippines, I was like, it was crazy how many people that was related to me. And my whole life I felt this isolation. I didn't know how to capture it because it was just my mom and my brother. Here in Vegas. Everyone has a universal feeling of isolation. Everyone has felt isolated or outcast. They don't feel like they belong in a group. And I hope that this film can make people feel like, hey, I am loved and there is a group for me and I am accepted for just who I am.
The connection, though, the whole group at the end, something about the scene about them running away in the parking lot was very sweet to me. But for me, it was what is it about parking lots that we all want to hang out in? That is just, what is it about parking? What is it about parking lots?
It's when you're young, especially because growing up in Manila, we would just hang out wherever pre-social media, and we'd just smoke cigarettes and drink around, party. And then when I came to America, under 21, over 18, I didn't know where to hang out because we were in Las Vegas. So I wasn't sure. So a lot of times I'd just be outside hanging out. And then eventually...
Parking lots, too, it feels like sometimes it's a place you can go and just be unbothered by other people.
Right.
Especially in a parking garage where it's people aren't milling around a lot.
Right.
So you kind of just can go and be yourself there and nobody's going to bother you.
I agree.
But there's been so many moments, after you watch a movie or after a party and you're just, everyone's trying to leave, but you end up just stand in the parking lot.
Yeah. We don't go.
We just don't go.
We gotta go, but we don't.
And then you just keep
talking.
You keep talking. It's like what Brian says. No one really bothers us there.
I was actually gonna ask, like,
Yeah.
for the parking, like filming in the parking lot, did any cars come in? Was it like a private, public?
No, so this film was made as part of a program for alumni for our alma mater. We all went to school at UNLV.
This is so wholesome.
Yeah, it's a wholesome horror film. Wholesome horror.
I think the most memorable thing was just like getting to be at our campus, like our alma mater, and like working with the students. It was kind of like a little like a teaching moment, and like helping them like more wholesomeness. Like getting to work on like a real set, and like getting to teach them how to work on a real set, and then just being like at our school together again and like working on films. Yeah, that was the best part.
I loved the cast and the crew and how diverse everyone was with their experience levels. I actually feel like it was very, at least for my experience, I felt like it was very easy because everyone was so diverse. There was no like cliques. There was like, I felt very grateful to like for our vampires. Like we had alumni, and we also have like people who are currently students, and I was like, it was so cool to see everyone's energy levels and how everyone was able to work with each other and teach each other. It was a really great learning experience, and I'm really glad that it's a new thing that they just started with the workshop and bringing in alumni to come and direct, and they do it every year now, and it's a really cool learning experience, and I hope that more of our current students are inspired, because it's so easy to lose that like, oh man, I'm so scared to just jump into the water. I feel like this was a good experience for people to just be like, I can do it too. And like working with alumni who have, it shows you that anything is possible. And I love it. It's really cool.
So sweet. Favorite thing about working on the project? I think for me is getting to work with my community again in Vegas, but mostly because I was so closeted when I was in school, and so to be able to come back and just like finally tell a real story for myself, because the whole time I was in school there, I was scared to tell Filipino stories. I was scared to tell queer stories because I felt really isolated aside from my close friends. So to be able to come back and just do one finally, even as an alumni, it's like very cathartic for me, but also like, to help establish this program for the more current students to be able to I had a lot of students come up to me and say like they're queer and they just weren't ready, so working on the project just helped them. So yeah.
This is way more wholesome than I thought it was going to be. I was prepared to talk about bloody and like vampires. I'm like, oh my heart, I just want to give everybody a hug.